right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy to have you here. Some familiar faces. I imagine we all came today because our new hire onboarding experience is exceptional. I see people laughing, a little bit of chuckles over here, and we'll talk about that. Just out of curiosity, by show of hands, how many of you in this room, that's your only job? You are only the sole owner of driving your onboarding program at your organization. Interesting. No hands. Okay, so what that tells us then is that a lot of the work we do in the onboarding space takes up, I imagine, quite a bit of time. And additionally, it doesn't always constitute what we're supposed to be doing the majority of the time. So let's talk about that. I want to show you a picture and I want you to help me identify what most closely resembles your world. How many of you identify mostly with this woman on the left? She just ran the race, onboarding is great. She says everything is going our way, it's fantastic, onboarding runs seamlessly. How many of you in this room feel like this woman right here? No? I'm seeing, oh my gosh, why I empathize heavily with people in this room. Okay, how many of you feel like more like this guy right here? And you realize, oh gosh, they didn't get the computer yet? How are they supposed to start their e-learning? Oh no, not this again. How many of you have had experiences like this?
Definitely.
All right, excellent. We're in a safe group today, and I'm excited to talk about this. And so my goal today is I don't want you feeling entirely like this. Let's learn from each other. And by the way, I've got some tips and tactics that can help you today to employ so you can feel more like this. It's not going to be perfect overnight, but I think we can start moving more towards the middle ground. So I know some of you said that you're suffering from some anguish in the room. Anybody care to share a story of woe? And by the end, I hope to share a really good story of yes, but for now, anybody have a tale of woe?
All right, I guess I'll go.
You do? Okay, I'll have you grab the mic
there you
so
go.
that everyone can hear you. And what's your name?
Hello, testing. Eddie Perotti.
Eddie Perotti. Thank you so much, Eddie.
Thank you very much.
And tell us about your tale of woe.
Well, I don't think it's just a single tale. It happens, I'm sure everybody will say it far too often around here. My company has a great checklist and a great onboarding process in terms of the documents are there, the actions are clearly laid out, who's supposed to be doing is fine, etc. But what it doesn't have is like a centralized control mechanism to make sure it all gets executed properly and in time. And then I'm the sales leader here, so I'm really focused on the sales aspects. I work on the strategy, the training. I'm not the onboarding specialist, in terms of the new hires. Although if I'm hiring a salesperson, I will help them out, obviously, but sales-wise, not necessarily giving out the laptop, the HR briefing, benefits, all these other activities. I think the problem that probably everybody has at some point is that when you have a checklist that depends on other functional groups, and the other functional groups also have other jobs.
Right.
So it all gets, there's no prioritization for the onboarding process. So my new hire for sales, unless I pick up the phone and start griping and complaining, he's not going to get his laptop for 2 weeks or something like that. Simply because it's in the queue, or it's in the system, it's in the queue. So I think that's probably the biggest, there's not one story. It happens far too often, I guess is my point.
It happens far too often.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate your story. I see a lot of nodding heads here, so I'm assuming that this is a story that plays itself out time and time again. And you're in a safe space. I myself was in sales, and this is what really captured me to walk into this moment with you today. I'll tell you a little bit of a story. I was meeting with all the sales executives, me, myself, and I, at a long, narrow table, like a triangle, and I'm sitting right at the end, and you've got about 5 sales execs sitting at the end. and we were going to discuss the current state of sales training, a lot of that being sales onboarding, and they had a large influx of sales reps coming through. We were about to hire 40 new sales reps. And they stared at me and they said, Emily, we want our sales reps, regardless of where they start. They could be fresh out of college with no sales experience prior. They could have sales experience already, but in 30 days, we want them in front of a customer. And we want them in front of a customer that is confident and competent. Now, again, a lot of humor here, right? And I thought they were joking, but they were not. They were not joking. And it's interesting too, because at this point, with the amount of stuff they had to learn, the portfolio, this was taking the better part of more like 3 months, 6 months before they were in front of a customer confident and competent. And so I had to test all my boundaries and knowledge to get this up and running. And I said to them, point blank, challenge accepted. And I'm going to share with you my journey and the things I can impart with you today to hopefully help you alleviate those pain points. So, we ready for this? Let's do this.
Go.
All right.